Hello everyone, I'm Rabbi Chaitovsky and welcome to another video dvar from my office at BMH-BJ, and welcome to Parshat Bo. Parshat Bo, fascinating Torah portion detailing the last three plagues and ultimately the actual exodus from Egypt following the first Seder in Jewish history, known as the Pesach Mitzrayim. And we, of course, mark Passover every year. We know that it's a seminal holiday. It is a wonderful family occasion. It's also a marvelous educational event. It's almost like a four-year university inside of just a few hours covering one evening. And it details what I've always called to be our master story. Last night, I had an occasion to spend time with a 9th grade class at a local synagogue. It was a Reform congregation, and I was joined by a rabbi from that synagogue as well as a rabbi from our local Jewish day school. And I was an Orthodox rabbi, I was joined by a Reform and a conservative rabbi. And it was a marvelous evening, not because of the interplay with my two colleagues, both of whom I love dearly, but it was a marvelous evening because of the questions that the students asked. I've participated in many, many panels before with high school students and teenagers and formal and informal. Just the level of question that was asked and the engagement that indicated on the part of the student was simply marvelous. I don't remember the last time that I was asked such good questions. Asking good questions is really key to living a Jewish life. According to our tradition, not the answer, but more so the question is key. And everyone talks about theoretical questions. Well, in Judaism, there really aren't any theoretical questions. In our tradition, our greatest personalities ask the tough questions. Abraham confronts God in the book of Genesis and says, Hashofet kol haaretz lo ya'aseh mishpat. Is it possible that the judge over the entire earth will not practice justice? This is Abraham's challenge to God after God has made the decision to destroy the city of Sodom. Moshe confronts God after his initial meeting with Pharaoh that did not go as well as planned. And Moshe says, why have you made the situation worse for the Jewish people? And Moshe later asks, show me your glory, which is code word, according to the rabbis of the Talmud, for the question, why do the wicked seem to prosper while the righteous seem to suffer, which itself is code for why do bad things happen to otherwise good people? These are not just theoretical questions, although every philosophy deals with them. In our tradition, our greatest actually ask those questions. The Torah puts those questions into the mouth of our leaders and our rabbis and our teachers. It is no accident, therefore, that in our Torah portion this week, there are really two, but overall, 3 examples of asking questions. And these 3 examples, including the one example that is not so much a question, but is a question starter, we are all familiar with because of their role in the Passover Seder. In chapter 12, verse 26, and then again in chapter 13, verses 14, and then in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 20 and 21, you can look it up yourself, we have numerous examples of asking a question. V'haya ki yomru aleichem b'neichem ma ha'avoda hazot lachem. When your child will ask you, what is the purpose of everything that we're doing. And this question and the other three modeled after it are the core of the Passover Seder. But more significantly, they are the core of our approach to Judaism. Asking a good question. In the yeshiva, you are always giving credit for asking, as they said in Yiddish, a gute kasha, or a gute frage. Always it was the question more than the answer. When Isidore Rabbi was asked after he won the Nobel Prize, what was it that made him become a scientist? He said something very fascinating. He said that every day when he came home from school, when other children were asked by their parents, "What did you learn today?" his mother would ask him, "Izzy, did you ask a good question today?" And he said, the fact that I learned early on about the significance of asking questions made me a perfect fit for the world of science. Well, it's not just the world of science, but it's the world of religion as well. Our faith is premised not on blind obedience and buying into a program, although those things are sometimes very important. But our faith is often premised on the ability to ask questions, the license to freely think and question some of the assumptions that are there. Because if we can't personalize those things, if we don't have the freedom to ask, we're never really going to grow. We're never really going to be given license to think. And a serious Jew is a thinking Jew. So ask questions. The freedom to ask is there because it gives us license to think. And what could be better than that? Shabbat Shalom.